How do you know if you're doing a drill or an exercise correctly, which is going to directly improve your performance when it comes to long jump, triple jump and sprinting? In this video, I'm going to show you just how.
Keep the speed going, bring it up.
This is what I call one of my uncut videos.
Nice. Drop it, lift.
Over the years, I've seen many of these various issues, and by studying what I'm saying to the athletes and in some cases how they're correcting it in real time, this is going to help you become a better, technically talented jumper and sprinter.
Sort the arms out. Rotation, don't sit.
Don't sit is something that you'll hear me shout quite a lot to the athletes when they're doing various drills. Basically, it means that they are dropping their weight backwards as they're performing, for example, a cycling drill or a plyometric exercise. And that is going to compromise their ability to triple extend and to get maximum power out of the activity. So push the hips up. Imagine that somebody's just lifting your hips up as you're perfecting the various drills.
Really push the foot away from you, snap it back. More forwards. Keep rotation going.
When I say to an athlete, in most cases about going more forwards, that's about using the heel recovery to project their body in a forward direction and get hip extension to really propel the movement. It can also refer to certain plyometrics where when we're going down a gradient, for example, they tend to go up rather than follow the gradient downwards. So you're trying to transfer your momentum as quickly as you can in that direction and not going up and down. And to do that, the hip complex is crucial and the swing of the hip forwards to create that great forward velocity.
Push your hips up. Nice. Drop it, lift.
Ayub was a classic case of an athlete who sits on his running and creates what I call a C shape. So instead of being more upright across his hips and shoulders, his backside is pushed out and he's sitting down and his stance leg has a bow in it rather than being more straighter. So he's more like that on contact rather than that. He's really worked on it, but what we've also identified is a lack of stiffness in the hip. Obviously, triple extension, you've got ankle extension, knee extension and hip extension. And if there is a weakness in the hip or in any one of those parts of triple extension, it's going to be found out. With Ayub, we believe that he's not stiff enough in the hip and that causes the hip to drop when he's performing various drills. So not only are we technically reinforcing the need to be high in the hips and to have a locked hip here, but we're also doing various plyometric drills to aid that. And you'll see more of those later on in this video. Speaking of stiffness, here you've seen Ignatius with a good solid contact through the hip and a good posture as he moves forwards. But I noticed that his ankle needed to be stiffer. This is the precision that you need really to identify when you're trying to correct movements. Ignatius has always been a very quad dominant jumper. So he tends to lever himself off the ground, particularly 2 or so years back. He's not tall enough, or wasn't, and he was another athlete that sat back on his movements. So over the years we've worked on getting him to lift, and that has improved his hip positioning.
Don't sit. Nice. Control over frequency at the moment. Nice. Keep it fast. Flatter. Move the hip faster. Go down the hill. Don't spin the back leg. Don't worry about it. It's 2 takeoffs with a step in between, another 2 takeoffs. Works reactivity and is useful for the penultimate step in the long jump, where you change and you press down. So there's a transition. Good, work the hip more. Make the transition fast. Da-da, good. Right, you're not locked enough. Pull your toes up. So fix everything, get your hip up higher. That's it, don't move the left leg. All right, you're sitting, this is so we've got to push that hip up. That right hip has got to go up. Don't cycle it, Jay, don't cycle it. Yeah, that's it. That's where you want the... You can swing the other leg to a degree. That's what we want. See, now you're collapsing at the knee too much. Kick your foot forwards. Collapsing at the knee, sitting back. Same there.
In this particular session, we also did some uphill and downhill bounds. Now, as you'll know, the gradient we use is only slight. And this was given only to Jay and Ignatius, the 2 main triple jumpers who were at this particular session. And it's a great way for them to learn how to reach into the contacts and pull the foot back. Going up the hill, the braking effect is going to slow the movement, so therefore they've got to transfer more quickly through the foot strike and hip swing to get that velocity. Downgrade is going to happen more quickly, and therefore their timing has to be up to it as well. So this particular combination is great for developing better bounding technique and force application and technical ability when it comes to reaching out and pulling back into the contact.
Right, extension, go up and push out, that's it.
As usual with this particular session, we finish it with some downhill runs going from 70% to 90% at least. Here Ayab is much improved in terms of his hip carriage and he's much taller. I'll often joke to the athletes saying that you've now grown 3, 4, 5, 6 centimeters in height simply from going from there to there, and it will make a big difference. Moving the hands in front of the body further as well will help. And Ayab's been really working on this both on the downhill runs, for example, and drills, but also when we do the indoor speed sessions too.
Be light.
It's going to take time. He's got to reprogram the way his body wants to move itself, but with constant reinforcement, he's going to get the results. With Abraham, who's jumped 7 meters 29 as an under 20, he's progressing really, really well. And as he's maturing, both in terms of his physical development, due to his age, and also because of the training we're doing, he's getting more and more powerful. However, he can try to hit the ground too hard. And this, I believe, is increasing his ground contact time. So when I shout out, be light, I'm trying to get him to move quicker across the surface and not power down into it. It's more about a subtlety, about the timing of the contact. He did respond to me and said, oh, it's about moving rather than trying to move, if that makes any sense. So basically, you're getting into a flow state when you're sprinting and the legs are moving round and round and round and it becomes automatic. You're not trying to pound through the exercise, the movements. You're trying to let the movement happen and fire more rapidly.
Right, bring it up. Up, hands.
Well, I hope this combination of you hearing what I'm shouting out to the athletes in real time during this session, plus my comments on specific features that I've been explaining, will help you to improve your technical precision when it comes to performance and to be very analytical about how you move. If you have any specific questions on the subject of this video or any of my others, then do leave a comment in the section below.